Morning. What's up, Junior? How's it going? Yeah, get my stream started here for you guys. And let me go get some announcements out. What's up, Strife? Good morning to you. How's everybody doing this morning? Sorry, I'm a little bit just I'm trying to having some issues with the software that sends our feed to YouTube, and like I literally got them sorted out just before the clock ticked over to 9:30 or 8:30. Sorry. So there we go. Now you should see my screen. Be able to see my screen, I should say. Going to take a look at how the market is responding to what was, to me, at a glance. And again, I was kind of struggling with my recording or streaming software as we were getting ready to kick things off. But I kind of saw the numbers at a glance. It looked like things came in right at the consensus below the previous readings. For the most part, month over month ticked a little higher than the consensus. Also, year over year, a little higher and in line with previous, but didn't rise. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Um, yeah, I mean, overall, doesn't look. Everything looks fairly in line to me. So we'll kind of see how the market decides to digest this. I don't. It doesn't really. This data doesn't really bias me too much in one direction or the other, but would be happy to hear what you guys think. If anybody has any thoughts on why the data that just came out would move the market one direction or the other, I'm not seeing anything that's like a huge surprise one way or the other. Um, so I'm kind of to that point. We are now testing this next supply zone here on S&P futures. So, right in supply, data comes out. A little bit of a sell-off doesn't really surprise me. It could certainly be a little bit of a shakeout before a push higher. We'll see. I mean, over, again, 43.98, which we talked about on Tuesday, seems to be a good level to watch. And definitely once we clear over this top of this supply zone here around gosh, what would that be? 4440. I'll just go with that. 4440, I guess. Yeah, there you go. 4440 would kind of really open up a lot of room to the upside potential. There's a big fair value gap and not another supply zone overhead until about 4500. But let me go ahead and share this data with you guys in the chat. Good morning, everybody. Good to see folks filtering in here. So I'm going to do some quick recaps. Just finished talking about sort of the market in general. Again, not surprised we're seeing a rejection here. If the data sort of wasn't, I think, a surprise for the bulls, or things came in much cooler than expected, I guess is probably what I'm trying to say. With that not happening, and the fact that we were right in supply when that data came out, kind of says, chart preceded the news on that one very much. In that no surprise means an expected reaction in supply, which means we're pulling back. But again, overall momentum looks to be pushing to the upside. Little pullback this morning does not concern me too much personally. We'll wait and see. And again, keep an eye on that 43.98 level. We have established a demand zone there now. We did clear out some supply zones throughout the day yesterday and overnight. So yeah, things seem to be, again, kind of grinding to the upside, which is good. That's what we want to see overall. Market is designed to go up, but doesn't mean it goes straight up. All right, and we've already got some ticker requests in here: AVGO, Crowd, and C-Scaler. Sure, Crowd. We can take a look at both, or possibly both of those. So let's just do a couple of quick recaps. I talked about this Square trade plan. Tuesday morning, we were opening up, essentially consolidating below the call entry as resistance. This is a plan that I published from the member selected ticker voting on Sunday. So it was in the options watch list. Make sure that you check that either late Sunday evening or Monday mornings because I tend to get those plans out around, try to get them out before like 8, 9 o'clock at night Eastern Standard Time. But these plans tend to hit pretty well for the most part. And again, great one here. We talked about it. Tuesday morning pre-market. Got the break shortly after the market opened. Within 2 days, ran all the way up, tapped our third price target, and pulled back, and it seems to be kind of double topping right around that same level. So it looks like we had this one absolutely wired for the max profit potential move and got it within 2 days. So congrats if you followed this one. Hopefully you did, because it moved very nicely, and I even gave you guys a heads up Tuesday. So here we are looking at Coke, which is the plan that one of the plans that we did. What was the other one that we did? Goldman Sachs. That's right. Take a look at that. And that was just kind of like a real quick and dirty plan. I think I even called it the dirty plan. Let's see what that did. Just barely got over and looked like it was back testing the breakout of the call entry and just totally pulled back. Not a terribly convincing break of the stop loss level, so I could certainly make a case that, you know, if you got a little bit of a stronger stomach for riding out some red, could definitely still be in this one. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that it broke above, back tested, and then just kind of broke down from there. Yeah, something that I look for, so rather than, you know, just a potential. You don't want to play your trades too tight, but I'm just going to talk about this real quick. You know, overall, we've got these SMAs trending to the downside. Things are flipping from a Neptune perspective a little bit more bullish, but again, overall, these SMAs are pushing us to the downside. And when we get over our call entry and get a back test and start pushing up, and then, you know, kind of just sputter out. And then what you see is a breakdown back below the call entry and a back test and a rejection. And now we're back below this 333 SMA here on the 15-minute chart. That's maybe like not the worst place to say, okay, maybe this plan just wasn't set up correctly. Again, this was quick and dirty. So I do not, you know, feel like there was a caveat with this one that it's not going to probably perform as well as my typical trade plan. But yeah, just that kind of move right there. Like seeing this again, hindsight's always 20/20, but that's just, I mean, honestly, how I play these types of trades. You know, get the breakout, back test. Okay, I probably got an entry here. We break down. Now we're back testing and rejecting my entry level. Okay, maybe my entry level was off. This is still overall in a downtrend. You know, I'd be quick to cut losses. Keep your, you know, aim small, miss small. Keep your losses small and your wins big. That whole thing that allows you to build up over time, even if you don't have the highest win rate in the world, as long as you're operating as close to a, you know, 2-to-1 risk reward on when you're taking profit and when you're realizing losses. Overall, your account's going to grow. You could have a pretty, you know, you could be 50% or less, even a little bit, and still come out profitable if you're taking profit and losses that way. All right, so we talked about all of the trade plans that I think we need to talk about for review. So let's get to some new trade plans. First one we have is AVGO, Broadcom, I believe that is, right? I don't know what the AVGO is for, but that's one that's always wondered about. And fortunately, I've already got some levels on this. Looks like we even did a trade plan on this one back in the day. August of this year, so not too far back in the day. Also, I guess we talked about this inverse head and shoulders breakout, and that played out nicely. Don't really remember going through this one, but again, I do a lot of plans for the group that may not be, you know, tickers I like to trade, or maybe I've just already hit my goal, or whatever the case might be. I don't trade every plan that I write, that's for sure, but that one looked like the analysis played out. Okay, so Broadcom. Well, I just want to kind of familiarize myself with this one real quick, a little bit. Looks like there was a bit of a downtrend it's broken out from, at least on these smaller time frames. Is there anything? Broadcom's generally a pretty stable ticker, so yeah, I was going to say I'd be surprised if it had some massive. Maybe it did at some point. Now, these must have been fib extensions from doing a trade plan at some point when it was testing all-time highs. That's probably what those blew. I was like, why don't I have all these levels up here? I know why now. Let me get a little bit of coffee for you guys. Oh, so good. Okay. So yeah, it looks like it's broken out from really any kind of downtrend on any time frame, so I'm not worried about any trend lines being in the way of this thing from pushing higher if it wants to. Could have a trend forming. This is kind of an interesting, it's definitely not confirmed. Could have one forming somewhere around here, so I'd keep this on watch, but it's far from confirmed, like I said. Okay, so I think this is really just more a little bit of like levels and indicators at this point. I just wanted to, again, make sure we didn't have any trend lines or anything like that that we needed to really be aware of or concerned about. Let's see. So it's currently rejecting around this daily level here at 87.17. Last time we came through that range, did have a move up to what was a stop loss average down level up here. I could see that playing out. Let's just make sure again that there's nothing that we need to sort of. What's up, Chris? AMD, also if time. Yeah. I've actually been watching AMD quite a bit, and it is playing around some levels that we've had on watch. So yeah, we should be able to sneak that in. Just a little hesitant to say let's just go ahead and jump in right as the pre-market resistance breaks, but it really does look like there's a pretty decent amount of room to upside. I mean, of upside, we can even set a fairly conservative target, still be in good shape, I think. So let's go for it. This might be a little bit of an aggressive entry, so just make sure you get good confirmation. Be careful about chasing, preferably a break over and back test. Because we're playing this aggressive, I'm going to go with my aim small, miss small as far as what I would want, what support I would want to see hold. Second target, I think we're definitely shooting for stop loss average down level from that old plan. Third price target. It's interesting that we got these wicks up here. Again, EVGO is definitely not one. In fact, this is probably, yeah, I was gonna say that's all-time high, I think, right? Yeah, that's the all-time high tap right there. That's just a print outside of market hours. Oh, yeah, kind of a little earnings report spike before it dropped. So I'm gonna say the real, I'm just looking for the actual kind of all-time high resistance here, which actual reading at least would be around 923 according to TradingView. It's the 52-week range. Let's see, it's probably when I click the stream, like I can see, can't see. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about that, man. I don't have much control over how Discord publishes or makes this look on a mobile. All right, let's see here. So I just wanted to, I'm trying to figure out where this 52-week high number is coming from. Okay, it's coming. Yeah, so this yellow. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's our third price target. Sorry. I let myself get a little bit in the weeds on that. So let's get back to current. Downside trade plan. I certainly do not have every level mapped out on this one, so I'm going to mark some hourly levels here just that I think kind of look like we'll want to pay attention to them. I think this is another one. All right, so where are we at? Yeah, I'm thinking of this 854.06. Looks like it's probably the smart downside entry. Check this on some limited took the Broadcom part. Oh, Thanks for that, CDHT. Now I have an answer for a question that has plagued me for quite some. So I was like, where does AVGO come from? I appreciate that. Thanks for looking that up. All right, so below our entry level there, what are we looking for? First price target. You know what? I've changed my mind. I like this better. Looking at how this is kind of playing out. I like this as the stop loss. I like this as a first target, although this is an interesting little rally-based rally off this level. It's caught support here a bunch of times. I actually think maybe we play this one right here. First price target. Second target, like this level that we already have on chart at 828.31. It's a 4-hour level. And then below that, I could certainly see it testing this weekly level down here at 814.13. The other thing, just pay attention to, there is potential for this trend line to become a factor, so make sure that you try to mark that down. When I post this chart, I'll try to post it to where, just use your magnet tool in TradingView, catch that wick and that wick. Should give you a good idea of sort of something to pay attention to, and certainly if we break below that, I'd be playing for the downside. Just depends on the timing a little bit on that. So, actually I'm not going to do that. Let's put these on the chart. This is our upside trade plan. Downside trade plan. And let me clean this up a little bit because I don't want to get out. Actually, that looks way too tight. Kind of see a better spot just above here. That seems to make more sense as far as where I would not want to be holding puts. So we're going to make a slight adjustment to this. That looks better. Let's see if I push that way. Can I get both these wicks on the chart? Still make it to where you guys can see everything easily. Sorry, I'm trying to. There we go. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't make it too hard to read the chart, but I want you guys to be able to see this trend line. All right, so what we're looking for here on Broadcom Technologies is for a break over 87.17. That gives us a first target, I believe, up to 94.19 with follow-up targets at 903.38. And actually, you can't see that on my chart, can you? Let's shrink this down a little bit more. 922.42, I'll replace that image. Actually, let me just delete this message entirely. So I'm sorry. Second target was 903.38. Third target 922.42. Stop loss average down 860. Well, yeah, I guess that's 869.69. Yeah. God, that sounds like some teenager's email password. 6969. All right. For the downside trade plan, we're looking for a break below 849.35. That gives us targets at 837.86, 828.31, and 814.13 with a stop loss average down at 856.47. That is your Broadcom trade plan. What's going on? Double tap the stream. It'll be full screen. Oh, yeah. Sorry, man. I don't have a ton of control over how well this all performs on mobile. So, my apologies, but hopefully you're getting something out of this. Take notes real fast. Just write down the numbers as I say them. Or you can also, it might work better, Dendry, Dendritic. I don't know how to say that. I'm gonna call you Dendy. You can watch YouTube. We are streaming this to YouTube as well, so you could try following it there. You won't have the chat. You'd have to switch back and forth to see the chat between your Discord app and YouTube, but um, that's probably an option, and definitely I would expect it to work better on mobile. So yeah, you can check out the live stream on YouTube if you want. Okay, cool. So let's go to our next one. We had Crowd and Zscaler. So CrowdStrike, IT security. I personally like what they're doing in that space. Big move over the last few days. Yeah, big jump there. I'm going to look at both of these and just see if there's one that kind of looks more interesting to me. Oh, they're kind of both doing the same thing, although they're both... Zscaler's also kind of in cybersecurity, aren't they? Yeah. That's what I thought. This is probably... I don't know, so maybe something front-running stuff going on and with more war popping off, possibly. Is this kind of near? Okay, no, it's going to ask if it was near all-time highs, but no. Lots of upside to recover here. All right, so Zscaler or CrowdStrike? Let's go with CrowdStrike. It's actually one that I've personally started deploying on networks. So yeah, let's go with this one. Let's actually know a little bit about the business and what they do. All right, so the question is, let's do this. I've got some levels to put on this thing. Hide my indicators real quick. Let's get to our time frames. Let's see what kind of trends we have working. There was some kind of a breakdown back test. It's probably no longer useful or valid though. Those trend lines. Okay. I like... There's definitely a weekly level here that I didn't already have. All right. See any other weekly levels that jump out at me? Let's take a look at these daily candlesticks, because looks like I kind of just charted probably just the major higher time frame levels on this previously, so I want to make sure we've filled in all the gaps here. This is an interesting level. Keep that on watch because we are kind of approaching that range here. Seems like a pretty broad space right here for it to not really set anything. Well, hang on. I think I found it. Probably right around, yeah, right around here. There's a daily level sitting in there. Let's see, yeah, we got one up here too. All right, I think we're probably pretty good as far as anything that we're going to be near hitting anytime. Well, then I take that back. Let's look up in here real quick. Well, if there is something up here, it's probably right here, actually. Yep. There we go. Okay. That looks a little better. And just because I'm staring right at one, it's right about there. Okay. So let's get back to present day. All right. Any more? No. Okay. Power levels. So let's start cranking here. I'm gonna go with that. It's a little off. Okay, let's see what that does for us. I think we might be ready to plan this out. Because I think what we're looking at is, sorry, getting a little in the weeds here. Yeah, there is a level set right there, actually. All right, so I think what we're looking for is a break over this daily level. So again, this is another one that could be an entry very close to the open. I like this weekly level as a backstop. Like this is first target, second target. What's above this, though? Yeah, there's the level sitting right in here. I'm just looking at, just so you guys can kind of see the stuff that I look for as I'm picking these levels as we led to this breakdown off that rejection right there. I just see a bunch of resistance touches right here, 1, 2, and then 1, 2 support. This bounce is kind of right around it. Support happening right around that level. So kind of support flipped to resistance right at that point, dropped it. So that could be a challenging level to get back over. It does, though. It looks like it opens up room. Yeah, another up to 216.62 probably. All right, so let's take a look at downside trade plans on this one. Has made a pretty aggressive move up, and I do like this sort of a rally-based rally off this 180-104, but if that breaks back down, I think we'll get into some fair value gap territory where we may, at the very least, come back to this 174.66 level that I think we share our stop loss with the call side trade plan. Lots of resistance leading up to this move up right here, so kind of a tight first and second price target. Then below that, I like 166.80, third price target to the downside. Let's just check the indicators, make sure nothing's kind of sitting in the way here. Let's dig in a little bit tighter. So yeah, that actually lines up. That would be a flip. This is the bottom of the buying pressure here on Neptune. So break below that gives us a confluence down there. So yeah, indicators agree with exactly what we were mapping out as far as where our confluences are sitting. Maybe with the one exception of a confluence down here. I did kind of debate using this weekly level because it's a weekly level. I don't like to totally disregard those, but I think ultimately just the way the price action played out previously, I think you do have enough room to get down there. But the other thing is that these will move over time, so depending on the timing, these could actually, or at least the 200 SMA could very much wind up being more of a confluence with PT2 versus this weekly level. So just pay attention to where these are sitting on the hourly as we test these downside targets, if the downside even winds up playing out anytime soon. So that's kind of talking you through it and how I like to watch these things play out, what I look for, what I use to do it. Okay, so here is our, and then we'll do, I think AMD was next. We're going to get 3 trade plans in this morning. Busy day. I like it. All right, here we go. Crowd trade plan. So, on CrowdStrike, what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for a break over 189.72 to play this for the upside up to 196.88, and then targets at 202.73 and 207.72 with a stop loss average down at 184.88. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 181.04 with targets at 174.66, 171.91, and 166.80 with a stop loss average down, also at 184.88 for CrowdStrike. Okay, thanks for helping out with man Dendry, Den something. Trying to get him straight. Chris and Trade Alerts, I appreciate it, guys. All right, so Chris asked for AMD. I think he's correct. We might be in a range where we could have a recycle of a trade plan, so let's take a look. Well, I chug some more coffee. Get the caffeine going. Well, this isn't a great look. I think we have had previously an hourly trend line I was keeping an eye on. Looks like it seems to be breaking to the downside. This is our old trade plan. So we're actually, looks like we're back testing PT3 here pre-market as support, which is actually a good look, but the momentum from this trend line has certainly been lost. So that's not very useful anymore. All right, let's see. So how do we want to play this from here is the question. And let's check, make sure there's not any. That is, what? Is that a drawing? Oh, it is. I was like, what the hell is that? Is that a wick? I don't know what I was doing or drawing there, but that was, it's like, I've never seen that before. All right. Thinking there might be a bigger picture uptrend on this. That's what I'm looking for. Let's hide these real quick. I want to focus just on the candlesticks. I'm going to delete the sold. Long, short. It's a little bit distracting. Yeah, I think we've got one running somewhere. Whoops, that's not the candle. Sitting somewhere in this neighborhood, just trying to really hone this in. Probably a little bit more like that. So do have that working overall in AMD's favor, but that's a little bit below us. And yeah, the bigger picture downtrend's definitely been invalidated, so not too worried about that. Though it's a little bit interesting. Let me just take a quick look at this. Yeah, that could be what it's wrestling with right now, actually. Okay, well, that's okay. It lets us know what we're looking for. All right, so AMD, where do we want to try to catch more upside on this? Kind of already eyeballing this level. And looking back here kind of confirms that it really opens up more upside if we can clear over it. I'm guessing this 113.03, that must have been some kind of a fib extension or something. Well, purple's not a color I use a lot. When that's from and why it's there, so I'm going to get rid of it. This is an interesting level also, but don't think it's ultimately that going to be that big of a factor. So, but I'm just putting it there because I'm staring at it. Actually, you know what? I think it's a little bit higher. Right there. But I think this is our first price target, ultimately. Second price target. Yep, 113.01. And then this level maybe is a little high. Looking at this like multi-top that led to some of these breakdowns. A few pennies, I'll make that small adjustment for that being sort of the local resistance or recent resistance that it's really struggled with. So I think that gives us good PTs 1, 2, and 3. Stop loss average down. Let's see how this sets us up for risk reward. I kind of like giving it, because there could wind up being a break above, although break above the level that we're looking for in entry. We should have already knocked out a break over and a back test of this downtrend, but again, it's hard to predict that from a timing perspective, but I'm just thinking using our old PT3 as our stop loss average down. I want to see how that sets us up from a, I think it's going to be a little bit better than 1-to-1, so I think we'll be okay. But I do like it as a potential stop loss average down. That gives us 1.3-to-1. Yeah, so I mean, I say give this trade some room. Make sure you buy some time on it. That's what I like as the stop loss level on this AMD trade plan that we're putting together. Then to the downside, I actually like flipping our old PT2 for the upside to our entry level. We'll share a stop loss level again with the upside. Here's the rest of our targets going that way. Below that, below that, I really, yeah, I like this 104.71 level. First price target. A little bit of concern where this 107.41 level is, but I think we can move through that. Again, given enough time, and make sure you're paying attention to where these trend lines are as well. All right, so below 104.71. What is that? 103.22. And then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and set this one level closer, just where this kind of bounce initiated from here at 102.04. This guy is no longer a factor, so let's get the noise off the chart. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good way of looking at it. Let me just check indicators real quick, make sure that all okay. So that, you know what? I'm gonna make a small tweak here, just because we've got heavy buying pressure here on Neptune. So I think on the hourly chart, that's probably not going to move anytime real soon unless AMD makes another leg up. And at that point, I think this, we'd have to revisit the downside trade plan entirely. So I'm going to bump up that first price target actually to this 105.20 level. That puts us with that confluence right there. Also gives us good risk reward to that first price target. So I think it does get to 104.71, but again, let's be conservative. Let's use that confluence to our advantage. Yeah, the rest of it looks fine to me. So here is our AMD trade plan. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3 today on these trade plans. Whoops, didn't do that. Let's get back here real quick. All right, so what we're looking for here on AMD is a break over 109.75. That should give us targets at 111.81, 113.01, and 113.92. Watch this descending trend line here overhead. I think if we break over that, could actually push up. So you could get an early entry and keep a tight stop on things. Just watch this trend line. Make sure you put it on your chart. Wait for a confirmed break though. At least a 15-minute candle close above. I don't think we had any there. So if you attempt that more aggressive early entry. So over 109.75 though, which is our confirmed entry, we're looking for targets at 111.81, 113.01, and 113.92 with a stop loss average down at 108.20. To the downside, we'd be looking for a break below 107.01 with targets at 105.20, 103.22, and 102.04 with the same stop loss average down there at 108.20. All right, we are about 20 minutes out from market open. I do have to get the SPY plan put together and posted in the options watch list. Make sure you guys are checking that each morning for those levels. They are typically pretty darn accurate. And I've noticed a couple of things. I've kind of changed how I'm doing some of my confluences between SPY and my ES levels to try to track it a little bit better, because I'm noticing that essentially, like, it's a long story, but it has to do with contract rollover on futures and stuff like that. And I think I've figured out a way to kind of keep everything lined up, because things have kind of been shifting a little bit. But those confluence levels where, you know, I've got a level on SPY and a level on S&P futures, those are kind of a key factor to how I develop my plans a lot of times. So anyway, I've noticed a couple spots where they could be slightly more accurate. So anyway, with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope to be a little bit more active in the chat. I know I've had kind of a crazy week and I've kind of just been popping in and out, but we'll get things back up and running and make sure that we finish October strong. We will be back next Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And keep your eyes on the calendars, the events calendar. I might try to put something together to do like a afternoon, evening live stream on Sunday. So I'll try to kind of put some announcements out somewhere if and when I decide to do that. But I will definitely post it on the calendar. So just keep checking that event calendar. It's at the very top of the channel list on the left-hand side of Discord. So with that, thank you guys again so much for joining me this morning. I really do appreciate it. I enjoy thoroughly getting to do this and kind of interact with you guys the way we do here. So with that, I'm going to have my 007 soundbite hit you guys with what we should always be doing, and that is
plan your trades and trade your plans.
That's right. Plan your trades, trade your plan, guys. Go out there, get some green. I will see you all in the chats, and I will see you guys back here on the live stream at the very latest next Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but potentially Sunday evening. We'll see. So anyway, you guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. See you, Chris. You guys are welcome. Have a great day.